So what's going on? I'm finally working on some cars. A whole bunch of things have been putting off for a while, but today I'm gonna be in this ridiculous heat grabbing out the LCAs from the Gazelle, because I don't know if you can really see that, but it's running a ridiculous camber at the front and ridiculous track. It's been such a long time since the last video. I know I mentioned I had a few parts in the mail. They eventually came for the NX, because even though people said don't do the pulley inserts, I'm going to do them anyway. One of the bushings barely fits. So despite the ad saying it's good for all Nissan Sentras and NX, I can assure you it's not. Finally got some motivation and some new parts for all of the cars actually. I got some steering mods for the Gazelle. Fully aware that steering mods for the Gazelle are a bit useless when it doesn't have an engine. Maybe I'll get that done soon. But I have been doing a bunch of reorganizing of my workspace so that I can get stuck into it. So I got heaps to do. I got the S13 over to a fabricator, got some work done. I only got half the work I wanted done. That which did get done was done very cheaply. So I'm probably gonna send it off, get it done again, because it wasn't up to my standard. Ow. Can't say I'm stoked on it. So it looks like we're gonna be keeping the S13 off the road for a bit longer. I'm just gonna cop it on the chin and move on somewhere else. That's that. Under here, whoa, you can see what I'm actually getting up to now. So I've got most of the caster arm undone. Caster arm bolts undone. I gotta do the sway bar, I gotta get the wheel off, I gotta knock that guy out. Now, I don't know if you could see that, but the ball joint under there, these LCAs have S14 ball joints on them because it's from an S14. The knuckles are S13. S13 ball joints bigger than S14, which means those ball joints are a loose fit in the mount in the knuckle. But we managed to make them a tight fit with a really big washer when Derek cranked it down with his rattle gun, bent the washer up around the seat so there's no way it's moving whatsoever. It's been completely solid the whole time. The whole idea is remove these, swap them out for S13 ones so they're a little less extreme, and then mount up a bunch of steering mods that I bought, and potentially swap out the caster arms on this as well. Derek's got some GKTech high clearance ones, so when this thing does get back to the track, it's going to have some pretty unnecessary steering angle, but it's going to be fun. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but there's a ridiculous amount of spider webs everywhere, and like spider eggs and spiders. They're all around me. There's one sitting in the wheel right now. Where is he? Or did he bail? Oh no, there he is, there he is. Fucking everywhere. Oh yeah, he's alive. Come on, fuck off. As you've seen so far, I've pulled most of it apart, but one thing I do recall, last time, one of the things that I showed you was some new wheels. I test fitted those on the S13, but I got another pair of wheels, and they're more Yamakos, just like the tri-spokes that I showed in the last video. But these ones are called Circle Mesh. And there's some Jimmy Neutron looking things. And I'm kind of intending these ones to go on the Gazelle. It's only a pair, but let's see how it goes. 14 by 6.5 plus 9, there you go. A little less aggressive instead of the 14 by 7 zeros. Now it's a bit hard to tell because there's not really a whole lot of car on the front of this. So with some smaller LCAs and then the steering and roll center correction mods, they should fit absolutely perfectly. And then I'll probably run a pair of the tri-spokes on the back. I've never run staggered wheels before. I'm not really a big fan of it, but I think these will work out well. The only things left on this side, smacking this off, and the ball joint as well. But I can't find the hammer, so I might have to make do with the shifter. After like 100 years of hitting, I finally got that off. That's all torn apart, of course. Don't really care, because it's got new Tierod ends with the whole new steering setup. Took bugger all effort, what the fuck? Where the fuck did that bolt come from? What? That's the LCA. Whoa, wow, that's fucked. The boot's just falling apart. I was going to do the tie rods right now, just sort of remembered. There's not much point because I'll be doing an S13 power steering rack in this, because right now it is a manual rack. To fit an S13, so they mount in the same spot, bottom of the S13 rack, you've got a spline that goes into that, and then you've got T-piece, a flange up here. Now of course this one's splined, so that makes that kind of useless. Take that T-piece, chop off that T-piece, spline it, and then you can actually fit it into that. And that's the only piece you need to replace, and then you can fit an S13 rack. That's according to the forums. Don't know how accurate it is, but I'm going to give it a go. And hopefully get a power steering rack into this, with shorter steering ratio as well. The other thing I need is some bushings, because the obviously power steering rack is going to be a bit thicker. But I've already sorted some of those out, I've just got to go pick them up. Yank this out and see what's going on behind here. I steered the other side to have a look around and the whole thing popped off. Makes sense, I completely unbolted it. I'll undo this last tie rod on this side. That column piece is loosened, so that should just drop off, I don't know, with some force. I ran down to Bunnings to grab some RP7 penetrating spray. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that for today. I'll come back to it another day. I'll let that soak in, do its thing. I'm going to go pick up some rack bushings, some solid ones, and then I'll get back to it another day. Alright, so we're back. I'll let that soak a bunch, and now I'm going to see if I can get this spline out. So I got some Loctite thread lock. I went and grabbed this piece. This is the piece that'll stick at the end of here. Obviously it's not going to match up like that. There's going to be a yoke so that it can be on an angle. But for now, let's give this a good shake up. Now you are meant to apply it to both parts, but obviously it's going to be a little tricky to do that on the top half of this. That's heaps. Fucking hell. Cool. That should be good. The next thing I'm going to do is remove this shield from here. You can see the two spot welds. Probably end up just getting a grinder to it. I'm back again now, and I got a haircut. The tie rods, they should be set in there by now, just using some Loctite blue thread lock. I was intending to put... What have I done with them now? Oh shit, what did I do with them? What have I done with them? What the fuck? I was intending to chuck the locking collars onto the tie rods here, but given the built-in spacer, they don't actually reach up to here, so they don't do anything. So I've just gone with the Loctite option. So I think I'm going to try and bolt these guys up to the knuckles today. I'll try to sit the rack in. I've got the mounts somewhere. Here they are. So I got the mounts, I'll put those in. The brackets that go around this, not the mounts, but the brackets. I'm pretty sure the round side one of the threads is really shit, so the bolt doesn't want to go in properly. Then out here, we'll let that dry, and then I'll just chuck a coat of paint on top of it, whatever the darkest colour I have is. Here is just a big mess of parts that are no longer attached to one another, and the hay fever is kicking in. Before I actually do this, I'm going to clean the mating surfaces. Alright, let's see if these fit. Yep, that one's a little loose, but I'm not going to crank it on. In their video, when they do it all on the bench with the knuckle completely off, It's probably a lot easier. There we go. It's not looking flush. Getting there, I think. So it's taken a bunch of finagling. I think I have got both surfaces flush. Here's the thing. I started again from scratch. I've mounted it like you meant to. Seat your roll center corrections kit to each surface, adjusting the actual shank. So tighten that, it goes further. Loosen that, goes closer. Cool. You're where I want you to be. What about you? You seem a bit loose. Cool, so pretty much I'm holding that, I'm looking at the gap between each piece, and I'm threading the shank in until they touch the surface, there's no more gap. And then you want to hold the shank in the same spot while you tighten it up. Do the tie rod first, and then you do your ball joint. That one's on. Now, you talk to spec. I'm gonna grab out the video again and double check because I didn't get instructions. 57 to 70 foot-pound. I'm doing this so badly. Quick recap on what just happened, because those last few clips I'm pretty sure the microphone was off or dead, so they likely have no audio. So I'll go over what I just did. Got these mounted up, they're sitting nice and flush on both of them. Tightened them both to spec. It was an absolute bitch to tighten this thing while it was in, and also realised there's nothing you can actually lock it to because these are your two main points that stop it from rotating once it's in the car. I can't get the other side done just yet because it's too close to the brick wall. It's going to be very tricky to get to. I have to squeeze down in here. It's going to be a bitch to film and do that at the same time. Cleaned up the cross member, so they're looking nice and well. So that's looking good, that's looking good. There's more rust that I found. We'll mount this up in the next video as well as this and the tie rod ends. And then hopefully I'll have some S13 ball joints to replace, because we did it dodgy last time and I don't want to do that dodgy again. So replace those, and then I'm even thinking I'll replace these bushings with some poly insert ones. Also, despite everyone saying, don't do it, it's honestly just a bit of fun. And if it is bad, then perfect. You can learn from me doing this that it sucks, or doesn't suck. So that'll be it for the end of this rather long-winded random episode of all kinds of bits and pieces. Another thing I'll be doing soon is getting these on, so I'll try and make a video about that. And we'll get started on this one day soon. I still need to get my S13 back from Derek because it's still there. But it's been fun. Things actually happened on the Gazelle. So cheers for coming along, checking it out again, checking out the Gazelle, and I guess I'll see you soon.